Alright guys, so I think some of you out here were from the last time, right? Familiar faces, you were here last time? Okay. We only have one microphone, so you guys are going to have to, pass that on and share, and I'll have this microphone. It's been really cool hanging out with everybody today. My name is Dana Gilmore. I am from Kansas City, Missouri. I am a poet or a spoken word artist. That's what I do for a living. And a few years ago, I wrote this really cool poem called White Woman Friend, and was invited to perform on HBO Dead Poetry with Russell Simmons' crew. And after that, I was invited to return after writing White Woman Friend Part 2. It's a really cool poem, only because that's what most of the ladies and guys say about the poem. But the poem was based around a relationship that I went through in college. Thought me and that guy was going to be together forever. Did not work out. And so, you know how it is when you're going through situations and you always want to ask for advice, and we usually ask our friend until we realize she don't know nothing. That's why she's single too. And so forth and so on. But I was blessed to be raised in a family where I come from 3 older brothers. I'm the youngest and I'm the only girl. And so I was able to get a little bit of insight and perspective into how guys think a tad bit. But then I came to find out that all guys are not the same. But there are some things about guys that are pretty fundamental. So we have talked about everything today. I mean, we've talked about everything. How many people attended the self-esteem course workshop? That was really cool. And how many people attended the healthy relationships workshop? Okay. And how many people attended the fashion, how to dress workshop? Amen, you say? Okay, then there was one other. What's the other workshop that I missed? What to do after high school. How many people attended that? Okay, so guys, tell me something that you learned really, really quickly in your workshop that has maybe just stuck with you and you'll remember it forever, you think?
To be careful when you go to college.
Be careful when you go to college. Yeah. Anything else?
You got it.
Not compare yourself to others. That was a big one, because when you compare yourself to others, that is the quickest way to set yourself up for failure. Very good. Anything else? Anybody else learn anything? Remember anything? Okay, cool. So right now, we are going to be able to dig into the minds and brains of guys. So let's give a round of applause for that. I want you ladies to use this as an opportunity to ask all of the questions that you may wonder about guys. I don't know if some of you guys have been in a relationship with a guy who did something to you that you didn't like, or maybe you like a guy. You just whatever you want to ask about guys. These guys are going to be really honest, right?
Yep.
Straightforward. They'll be really respectful but really honest, and so you all be really respectful and really honest in your questions too, so that you can walk away from here making the best of this opportunity. So let's find out who we have on the panel, and I'm just going to tell us your name, if you feel comfortable telling us your age, and then also just give us the type of guy that you are. Like, how would you describe yourself? So we know what kind of guys we have on this panel up here.
My name is Brandon Eddington. I'm 34 years old. Been married 7 years in May. My wife is sitting there in the back. Type of guy I am. I guess my wife can chime in if she wants to.
Well, she'll tell us if you're lying.
Fairly laid back, spontaneous, like to have fun. My wife said, I just like to go with the flow. I'm real chill. Very particular too.
Very particular. Is that it? Is he right? Okay. All right, that's good. Oh, you know,
Passing on that one?
we know the type of guy he is. He's a lawyer.
My name is Michael Watson. I'm 32 years old. Type of guy that I am, man, I used to be a womanizer, like really, like seriously. So that's why when I got the message, I was like, this is something that's awesome. I'm a former professional athlete, and so I've seen the world from a different angle. And some of the questions, I was just like, wow, we were talking about the questions, and being a father too of girls as well now, growing older. So definitely used to be that, live that life, and so I know what it is.
Now tell me what you mean by being a womanizer.
A womanizer is just someone who isn't committed to any one woman, someone who I lived in different countries for 9 years, and so you travel, you get used to being gone. It takes a real man to sit down and commit to one person. And for me, I just never really wanted to do it. And I'm not going to get to the questions, but that shows a lot of immaturity for men being able to admit that. And so, just be honest. So there's a lot of immaturity about men as we grow older, and then the cycle of we don't have to commit, because we didn't see it in our lives, and so therefore we don't have to commit, and we'll just keep the cycle going. So, but that's it.
So far we have someone that is married and laid back, and then we have someone that, I don't know, are you single now?
No.
No, you're not single now, so are you married?
No, not yet.
Okay, so he's in a relationship. He used to be a womanizer, he used to be a player, he used to be a cheater, but now he's on another level with things.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Don't hold back. Don't hold back though.
Okay.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeremy Davis, and I'm 25 years old. And I am, I classify myself as really a purely nice guy. Just, really down to earth, kind of laid back, go with the flow, kind of like the first gentleman said up here.
Okay. And they say that the nice guys never win. Is that true?
Yes.
I wouldn't
say
How's it going? My name is Carlton Bonte. I'm 21 years old. I'm also a nice guy / gentleman, laid back. Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon, my name is Chris Vaughn. I'm 22 years old. I'm a pretty laid back person. And the same with I was kind of like Mike, to where even just a couple years ago, I was to the point where I would pretty much say what I needed to say. And I've gotten to the point now where I've realized though that it's more important, and I think I've matured more in a way to where I finally got to the point where I'm in a faithful, completely monogamous relationship.
It's awesome.
All right.
There you go.
My name is Leonard Davis. I'm 30 years old. Mr. Dr. Church, shout out. Been married for almost a year and a half. My wife Andrew's in the back. She's going natural, so I got your card. I'll give you a card. I'm really that long.
That's smart.
So I'm a fun-loving guy. I'm also laid back, very easygoing, but also very driven and very serious at the same time. But I like to have a lot of fun, laugh a lot. So.
All right. Now we have a father. How many of you are fathers of daughters? You are, right? You have 2 daughters. Okay. So let me ask you this: give some advice to our ladies that do not have a father figure in their life or a male role model. What is something that you would want to just stick with your daughters when they're grown and out of your home and moving on to meeting guys? I know you don't like the sound of that, but
Man, who you telling? That's tough. That's tough, and my daughters are fortunate that I'm in their lives. But for a lot of young ladies who don't have their fathers, what I would tell them, I'm a believer in Christ, and so I really believe the fact that God can do anything. God can change anything. He can make things happen that seem impossible. So I would seek out a positive role model, a positive male role model, and they're always around you. You just don't necessarily know that they're around you. Maybe it's an instructor. Maybe it's someone at your church if you go to church. Maybe it's an older brother even. Maybe it's an uncle in your life. But it's dire. It's dire. It's so vital for a young lady to have a father who cares for her, a father figure who cares for her and shows her worth and her value. And I know for so many ladies who I do know who have that father figure in their life and the type of woman they've turned out to be versus the ones who don't have that father figure in their life and the struggles that they have to overcome just to live a quote unquote normal life. And so I would definitely encourage some young ladies to seek out a male role model, because he can teach you things that, the women do a lot, but a woman can't teach you what a man sees and what a man expects and what a man can teach you.
All right, so when we were in one of the workshops, one of the young ladies asked a question about guys and why aren't they just direct and straightforward. And she was wanting to know, if you ask a guy a question as simple as, do you like me, how come the answer can't be just yes or no? what is the situation that you think is going on there? Any one of you guys on the panel that want to take
Let
that?
these young guys chime in on
You
that.
want him to-
Y'all want him to answer?
No, you.
Y'all kidding me right now? I'll answer after.
Yeah, you answer and then pass it around.
Alright. So, in my own opinion, for me, myself, I beat around the bush because I don't like playing with emotions. Because I know being a young man, young woman, you know, emotions are a really big thing. So like if guys like, yeah, you know, I really want to date you, you know, I like you a whole lot, then next week is out with a whole different girl, you know, you might be kind of upset. Because men, young men especially, like we go back and forth a whole lot. And so basically like the emotions thing, I don't want to lead anybody on, especially if I care, don't want to cause any other drama, and don't want to get in trouble if they're doing dirt.
But don't you think that if you lead them on more by not answering direct, do you think that that kind of leaves them kind of hanging a little bit? If you don't just say, no, I don't like you.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess it does kind of leave you hanging, but then again, like I can only speak for myself, and it's like I beat around the bush and try to sugarcoat it, only so it comes off easier, and then I just hope that you get what I'm trying to say to you.
So more of a you said you were a gentleman, so more of a gentleman approach to the
Yeah, trying to be a gentleman, trying to, you know, save the peace so you don't, you know, walk away hating me forever.
Yeah. You have a question there for her? Okay, go ahead.
Well, wouldn't it be easier if you just said no so you could just walk away and not like try to get into everything?
So I'm gonna try to give an example. So say you were talking to somebody that you really liked, and it's still on. And say, I could have hit myself for a second. But so say somebody you like and the guy's like, you know what, I don't want to deal with you no more, and they just walked away. Would you, you know, I guess, think that's kind of messed up for him to say it like that?
Of course it's messed up, but like, I wouldn't be one to try to keep getting into it. Then my feelings get hurt even more. I just like knock it off right there.
That's understandable, but it's just like.
It's like, that's understandable.
That's cool.
You tell me how it really works.
That works for you.
Yeah. But so, well, yeah, I mean, I guess it can save the peace. Well, I say more direct sometimes it does more bad than good. I mean, at first it does bad, but at the end it might be better off. But people don't really think, you know, I guess, in the moment when it comes to saying honest, sincere things, I guess you can say, that might not be good.
Leonard?
In my experience, it happens that way because most guys are playing games, and you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of the fact that most guys are selfish and in it for themselves, and they're just really in it to receive and not necessarily to give. And so when that happens, when they are not direct or they are beating around the bush, they're really just playing games with you because they're really only in it for themselves most of the time. Because if someone is really into you and really does have those feelings, most of the times they would not have a problem sharing that, especially if they know that that's necessary in keeping you with them. So
let's talk about that since we're on to that. How can you tell if a guy genuinely cares and respects you, or if a guy is just faking it? How is one of these, one of us, all of us ladies in here able to tell?
I'm passing.
A guy's gonna he's gonna that's an action word. And so he can tell you all day long, I'm into you, but he's gonna be there. He's gonna show you, he's gonna wine and dine you, he's gonna, still open up doors for you. He's gonna respect whatever, morals that you have, and hopefully encourage you to share the same morals as he is. As Michael said, I'm a Christian too, so one of the keys to me is, did we share the same Christian values? And so if a guy's gonna be interested in, or really is interested in you, you're gonna be able to tell. You're not gonna have to second guess, like Leonard said, as far as want to know if he's playing games. He's going to be direct with you if he really is into you. Not to knock my man here, but I'm a little bit older, but growing up, I pride myself on being very direct. I mean, you didn't leave me question like, what does he really think? I might have been too brutally honest sometimes, But if a guy's into you, he's going to open up himself to you. He's going to be kind of vulnerable to you, and he's not going to be ashamed to share his thoughts and feelings with you, point blank.
So just so you guys can have an idea of how a lot of the young ladies out here think, in one of the workshops earlier, there was a discussion about what qualities and characteristics do you look for in a man. And I'm just gonna give off some of the things, to read you some of the things that they said, and you guys can add something to that or elaborate on any of those things. So, supportive. A lot of them wanted a man that had a backbone, really meaning that if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm wrong about something, they wanted a guy that would tell them about that. No lies. I think everybody said honesty, honesty, honesty. Like they are, you know.
It goes both ways too.
They go both ways. Yeah, look at this show. These are pearls. Well, this was an interesting one. Someone said something, I won't point her out, but someone did say something. They don't like the girl best friend thing, you know, like who is she? Where's she come from? Like, you know, that goes both ways too, right? So yeah, they didn't like that, the whole girl best friend, you know. Then, let's see, but they said the same religion. A lot of them said that too. They wanted that foundation, that religious foundation. Open, provider, protective. And then we have one of the young ladies, I thought this was really cool. Someone said they wanted a man that had goals. And she said, forget just having goals. I want a man that's accomplishing goals. So that was really good. So what do you think about the list and where they're at with things? Any one of you all?
One of the things that you said at the end that I was waiting for, definitely, I definitely agree with the goals. And then another thing I would say is, are you able to trust them? Is it some person that you generally feel you can trust? Like my girlfriend and I, we actually, it's our 1-year anniversary today, and we've been in a long distance relationship since July of last year. Wow. And it's one of those to where, so the majority of the relationship, it's been long distance, but the whole time, because of the fact that we showed the way we felt about each other, it's to the point where we can trust each other to go do this and that, and they say they're hanging with it. One of us says we're hanging out with somebody. We're not to the point where we want to know what they're doing 24/7, or if they're out with someone, not texting them, saying constantly, what are you doing, who's there, why is this happening?
Okay, so what are some pointers that you can give as to things that will make a man trustworthy? Like what are some, like you said, actions that a man actually can take that will show them, hey, this guy is trustworthy?
I think one of the big ones would be change, to where if they have certain I wouldn't necessarily call them flaws, but certain traits that weren't necessarily would be the best, as you would, for a trait for a monogamous relationship. Are they certain traits that they would give up? Mm-hmm. And also, are they willing to, when it comes to setting boundaries, are they willing to equally say, as soon as when it comes to the boundary, are they the first one to say they're willing to give up this to be within the boundary as long as you will?
Okay, so a spin-off from that, help us understand the difference between wishing and hoping or potential. Are these young girls getting caught up in potential? Because we discussed earlier about the attraction where it's like this thug hood guy coming to you, trying to holler at you. He's no good right now, but maybe he can be better. How are they able to see the difference and know when it's something that you hang in there for?
That was
well, in answering that question, I'm gonna go back to the list of qualities, because what I believe that hopefully, you do have that list or those standards or those things that you're looking for, but what I have seen is we abandon the list because our emotions get caught up in things. Maybe, someone may be very attractive, they don't have all of these things, but that's okay, because maybe I can change them, like you said, or maybe, but really, honestly, you can't change anybody.
Okay.
If a person is not the way you want them to be, in the beginning, they're not going to become this new person. It's not going to happen. So as far as the whole potential thing, I just think it's sticking to your standards and standing firm in those and not abandoning that. And even when the journey gets rough and maybe there's a little loneliness, but I'm telling you, when you find that good thing, it's awesome, and it's worth it. So
let me add on to that potential thing. Think about potential. Everyone has potential, but the difference is if they have. She wouldn't say that. Somebody said I wouldn't say everybody has potential. That's cold. But everybody does have potential, but in a relationship, if they're not what you want or what you need, I should say, in the beginning of a relationship, and you're waiting, like you said, around for them to change, then you're just going to be waiting because they are who they are. People are who they are. I mean, it's about, you cannot change them. The potential is always going to be there. What if they never realize their potential? Then you're stuck with what you really didn't want, what you were waiting for. And so I always tell young people, it's important to look into people for what they are, believe in their potential, but also believe in your own potential and not to settle. Like you said, when times do get lonely, when you do, I hear so many young people, and I say young, but it's affection. It's not like I'm just saying y'all some babies, but 2021, you know, saying they want to be married. And some people are ready to do that at that age, but to me, it's more in life to be looking forward to than marriage, than having to be with that person, because marriage is for the rest of your life, and it's a commitment that is more than a full-time job. And so for the people who wanted to have that and you know, want that early in their life, I'm like, man, the expectations from that are huge. But so go ahead.
I was actually going to ask you something because you said that you are a nice guy, so I actually wanted to ask, because you said something about the beginning and knowing something from the beginning, right? And so from a nice guy's perspective, how does the beginning look? How is this nice guy, how should a guy approach a young lady? How does a nice guy treat a young lady? What are some things that they should be looking out for in the beginning?
I think, going back to what my man said down here on the end, you have to have a list and a idea of what you want in a man, and writing it down is a good thing, so you can see what characteristics you want in a man. And even from the very first date, whatever the case may be, you want to start looking for these characteristics from that day moving forward. If you want a man who's respectful, who treats you with dignity, who opens up doors, who will pay for your dinner on the first date regardless, and that sort of thing, to make sure that's what he's presenting on the first date, because if it doesn't start from day one, he's not going to grow into that. So you have to make sure that you meet a guy where he is and that he's where you want him to be when you first meet him. Because like kind of echoing what everybody was saying up here, you can't change a man can't change a woman. Either a man has it or he doesn't. He can't learn new things. You guys can grow together, but he has to have a foundation that you're looking for, because you can't teach somebody a foundation when they're 18, 20 years old. It has to do with their upbringing. It has to do with their background. It has to do with their beliefs, their religious beliefs, their self-esteem, and that sort of thing. And it's not an on-the-job training type of thing. You can't, take somebody and then say, well, I'll teach them how to do this, because all you're going to do is get met with resistance. Yes?
Why is it that guys act like one day they like you guys know you guys like each other, but one day he don't want to talk to you, the next day he want to flirt with you, and then be all cuddled up and stuff, and then next day he want to act like he never talk to you?
Look at that.
That definitely happens. That definitely happens, and I have to say I'm guilty of that. Kind of going back and forth. When I was
watch out.
10 years ago, I've been guilty of that. But
so you're born again.
Where I'm going with this is, there's definitely a fact that young ladies have to realize about young men. You're talking about, you can't put a group of men in a box. Every man is different, but there are some general guidelines that every man falls under. And one thing is we mature mature slower than women do, right? So at 18, you guys may have a mentality of an 18 to a 25-year-old, depending on how fastly you mature. But a man, typically at the age of 18, still is thinking like, a 14, 15-year-old does. He's still thinking about himself. He's not worried about commitment. And that going back and forth, a sign of commitment is a sign of maturity, in my opinion. Being able to commit to something says that you understand what life is. You understand that life is about commitments and about standing up for what you believe and that sort of thing. And it takes a man generally longer to kind of grasp that concept. So, you know, I'm 25 now, and I've grown to the state where I am now. I'm actually engaged to get married in a few months now. So I've come to the point where I found the lady who I wanted to be with. I'm firmly committed to her, and I'm happy with that. As opposed to 5 years ago, I was thinking about, well, you know, I'm only 20 years old. I'm still in college. I'm not really trying to be tied down right now. You know, it's hard for me to sign the 2-year cell phone contract, let alone, trying to commit to one lady out of this whole world of women, you know. So it's kind of one of those things to where you have to realize that men mature slowly, and really the advice I would give to a young lady is to worry about yourself, worry about the lady who you want to become, and then when it comes to the point to where it's right for you to find the right man, I believe that you guys will meet right where you are, and he'll have those qualities that you're looking for automatically. You guys can kind of grow into what you want to become. But I think the wrong way of going about it is, you know, going through 18, 19, 20 years of age and thinking like I have to be in a relationship with somebody. I have to find somebody who's potentially a husband at this point, because chances are you're not going to find it, especially in today's world where you can have access to so many people over the internet and traveling and doing that sort of thing. From a man's standpoint, it's like the world is so huge that it's hard to make that commitment to one lady when you're, you know, exposed to thousands of women in real life, over the internet, whatever the case may be. So.
Okay, so let me ask for those of you, I mean, you can keep it because you're engaged right now, right?
Yeah.
And then for everyone that is married on the stage, just tell us how you knew your wife was the one, or your wife to be is the one. This is for you wives up there, you listening?
Well, first of all, I must say, like a lot of these brothers up here, I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, and quite frankly, I prayed for it. I was at a very low point in my life as far as relationship was concerned. I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm about my career, not necessarily worried about having a firm relationship with a woman. And I just prayed and said, God, whenever my time is right, reveal it to me. That's exactly what he did. You know, I wasn't looking for anybody. It turned out to be one of my friends from high school who I'd never dated before. And I knew automatically that our families were close, we were close. We didn't have anything to hide from one another. We didn't have this period to where we were putting up facades about who we really were. We knew each other very well, and I knew automatically that she was the one for me. So, but it started out with really asking for it and really sincerely meaning that I wanted to find the right lady, and it happened like really quickly for me. So I think that's the first step, is really wanting to have that commitment to finding the right person, and then asking God to provide that for you.
That's good.
Leonard?
Mary?
I guess so.
Well, first of all, my wife and I were dating, and she did something that was very important, and she kind of laid down the law as far as her standards went. And she gave me an ultimatum. It was in her mama's living room. I remember the day. And she wanted to be courted. She wanted me to date her. She wanted me to take her out. She was looking for something specific from me, and so she was going to stand her ground. And so I had to make the decision, because I really wasn't trying to spend all that money. But I had to think, you know, is she worth it to me to do that? And so in that moment, I said, yes, she's worth it. And so the things that she wanted, she got. And in the amazing chemistry that we had, and I had, you know, I'm 30 now, but, you know, through the years, I had, you know, been in several relationships, and you kind of begin to understand, okay, this is the same thing. And so with her, there was something that I experienced that was totally different. And I did not want to let that go. I don't want to take that chance. And so when the window of opportunity came, I jumped on it.
Okay, so key words that he said, one was standards and the other was worth. And I just want those things, because I think sometimes we think that we might run a guy off if we are too straightforward, or if we tell him exactly what we want, because there may be another young lady out there that will, you know, compromise, or she'll give him whatever he wants. But like he said, that, you know, his wife could have just been just another girl. But it's his wife now, and she sets standards, and by setting standards, then that elevated her worth to him in his mind, and now she's wife. So keep those in mind, standards and worth. Okay.
Just like, go back
good for you. Hold on one second. This may be good for you. But it might. What's your name again?
Oscar.
Oscar. Okay. His okay. Why do some guys pursue girls? And I'm asking this because you said that you were a former NBA or NFL.
NHL.
NHL, whatever. I mean, it's all good. But is that hockey? Is that hockey? Groupie for everything.
Lacrosse.
Okay, lacrosse. Really, you serious? Okay. So, but anyway, but guys in sports though, it's like you have a lot of that, right? Of women throwing themselves at you because that's what you said. So this question is, why do some guys pursue girls that don't respect themselves and dismiss the girl that does respect herself? Perfect, right?
That's an awesome question. Thanks for asking it. Men respect women who respect themselves. And the women who, when I was in LA, when I was in NBA and playing overseas in Europe and Puerto Rico, you meet so many women who just don't have respect for themselves. And if your mindset is you don't care, then you know when you guys meet up, then it's whatever happens happens. Men, we have a great way of compartmentalizing things, where we do something and we won't even think about it ever again. Which is a woman who is built off of emotions and feelings, that they're all into it. Even if they say this is our arrangement, this is what we're doing, we're just gonna kick it. There's no such thing as just kicking it for a woman. And in the end, a woman usually ends up getting hurt. And so it's not that men pursue women who don't respect themselves. Those women pursue the men more than anything. And so so every man in the world is 7 women. 7 women in the world. And so we have our pick of the litter. I mean, in all seriousness.
His eyes just lit up, they just started glowing.
What?
He's like, 7.
No, you have 7 women, so it's like, we have so many choices, so many pick of the litter. So if you have one you just want to have some fun with, and like you spoke, your point was great, talking about this maturity level of a man growing up. And I mean, I had my daughter when I was 21 years old, and so that changed my outlook on things, but it didn't change what I did after that. But as I got older and I see my daughter coming into a young lady, my daughter's coming to young ladies, I'm looking at them like, okay, I don't want them to run into a guy like Daddy was. And then that's one thing, but then not to know how to handle it and how to identify that man. You know, since I wrote the manual, wrote the book on it, and I'm giving it to him for free in all seriousness. So women, you have to respect yourselves in order for a man to even respect you or deem you worthy to pursue. Because we're hunters by nature, we're gonna pursue. But if you just throwing it out there, like come get it, then it's not even fun. Like after the chase, after it's over, then it's like on to the next one, like for real. And you give up your body, you give up yourself to a man, and that's not your husband, or y'all don't have that, you know, that commitment or whatever it is, and you expect him to be like fully enthralled in there, that may not happen all the time. He may be like, that's it. And so his interest is gone. And unfortunately for the woman, her interest grows, even more after that. So it's a give and take. You have to respect yourself.
All right, next question. And I think we only have like a few minutes left, so we'll just go through these, guys, go through them really quick because they're really good questions, and I want to make sure that I get to all of them. When dating, does being introduced to the family have a special meaning?
For me, definitely. That's definitely one of those milestones in a relationship. A man just does, or shouldn't just bring anybody into his household to introduce to his siblings, parents, grandparents, and that sort of thing. It takes a special woman to cross that barrier, because that shows your family that you're really interested in this person. And I know, my grandparents and that sort of, they automatically start saying, oh, okay, well, how serious is it? And that sort of asking more questions about it. So I wouldn't even put myself in that situation or a girl in a situation unless I was really serious about where our relationship was going.
Okay, good. All right. For girls that choose not to date, what advice would you give them when a guy says that she thinks she's better than everyone else, or that she's stuck up, or any of that stuff because she's choosing either not to date, or she's being selective with her standards and things?
Well, first off, I would commend whoever does that, because it takes a lot, especially nowadays, to not give in to pressure all around you. And then What was the second half? That was a long question.
Just the whole stuck up thing. Or even when girls, you know, when girls say that they don't want to have sex or anything like that, they want to establish themselves as, you know, set themselves apart as unique.
And so with that one, it's like whenever somebody says, somebody might say, you think that you might be better, that's not true because, I mean, the perfect response would be, you know, I'm just no less than them, you know. I know I'm not any less than you. And so, I mean, once you do that, just, you know, stay on the right track. Just, you know, focus on you, you know, make sure you're in the right spot you want to be before you want to, you know, decide to settle down. Make sure you have your goals set, and then make sure you look for someone, or just keep your eyes open for the one that might, you know, be on the same level as you. And then that's the best advice I can give because I'm still young, and so I know.
But I think that's great because earlier today there was a question about what's the difference between being confident and being conceited, or confident and being cocky. And I think that you really hit on that because confidence is saying that it's feeling like I'm no less than anyone, but being conceited is feeling like I'm better than everyone, you know, so that's good.
And then being conceited, that also shows as well. Like, people can see that from a mile away, so.
Okay. All right, next question. Males and females have different emotions, so how does a guy feel after he has deeply hurt a girl's feelings?
Get it.
Say, get it.
Well, I think part of it depends on the level of maturity of the guy. Because there are some guys out there that they can go out there and deeply hurt a female and won't think twice of it. Just on to the next, and that's the game that they're playing, to where it's about the guy, to where if you get hurt in it, so be it. And at the same time, there are guys out there who generally aren't trying to hurt a female's feelings, and they actually care about generally how they feel. And I think that kind of goes back to the whole sugarcoating thing that we talked about earlier, to where sometimes it's kind of hard to, I think that sometimes work ends up getting females get led on because there are guys who actually care about what the female is going to feel, and so they try and draw things out because they think a way they can ease into things and try and drop subtle hints instead of just dropping on them.
Okay, that's good. All right, what are your thoughts about the saying, good girls like bad boys and nerds finish last?
It's true.
It's true? He said it's true.
Well, you know, when I was in high school, I was a nice guy, and I definitely felt that. I was too. I was a nice guy. My freshman, sophomore year, I was a nice guy. And so, you know, I definitely felt that. But what I find is that it's like the later on in life, tables turn. And so those guys in high school that were the bad guys, that were very popular, that had all the girls after them, you know, now, you know, 10 years later, it's flip-flops. And now those nice guys have careers. Now those nice guys, you know, are making something of themselves. And what really begins to happen as time goes on is reality really begins to set in, and you really begin to see what's important. And so while girls may be attracted to that rough around the edges, because what it is, it's a confidence, it's an attitude that they're really attracted to.
The swag.
Yeah, it's the swag is the current term. It'll have another term about 5 years. But what happens is, as time goes on, what really matters comes out. And so what I'm saying is, if you are that nice girl or if you're that nice guy, stay who you are. And know where your identity lies, and it's not in being popular, and it's not in having a relationship. Stay true to who you are, and what really matters eventually will be made known. It just happens.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up. We probably are a little bit over time, but with you guys and all of your experience, we just want a one-liner to close everything out in response to the question, what advice would you give to them growing up in this generation? Because some of you guys, I know you guys have different age groups and things up here, but just from what you are observing from this generation, give us a one-liner as we go out.
This stage in life is meant for preparation for what's next. So don't be so focused on the relationship but be focused on what you're doing to become who you want to be in the future, and that other stuff will come.
My bad. I tried.
I think I'd have to say, stay true to your values and your standards, because any person who wants you to violate your value and your standards honestly doesn't care about you. They just care about what they're after.
And then going off what was just said, don't be scared to do the right thing. If you know it's not right, don't be scared to do the right thing.
Now that's a one-liner.
When it comes to relationships, your primary relationship should be on how it is with God, your relationship with the man above, and then everything else will fall into place in all aspects of your life. So focus on him first.
Seek ye first.
That's right.
Mine would be know your worth, value yourself. One line.
Don't compromise.
There you go. There you go. That's cool.
Y'all give him a round of applause. I hope he did. He covered most of the questions that you all might have.
No questions. That's good.
No more questions. Thank you all so much. It's been wonderful. And you guys can go on my Facebook fan page, JamieGilmore.com, and all that good stuff too. And listen to White Woman Friends, but turn the volume down.
Give it up for Dana Gilmore. This is her sales. Enjoy her. Before you leave, now, if you want some more prizes, stick around real quick, okay? But I do want to say this. This is a true story, and that is a lot of these gentlemen on the stage we've never met before. And what was important to them was that they came out to share their story with you and to help you as a young lady. So that's very important for you to know. People don't want anything but to give you great advice and to see you prosper as a young lady. So keep that in your heart and mind as you leave today. Thank you guys for taking out the time to do this for Pearls. Hopefully we'll see you back again next year, okay? And so we have a few more gifts to give out. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Good job. All right. Congratulations, brother. Thanks, man. Awesome.